What's goody, y'all? What's goody? So, I made the AlleyHTseries page. I have it on Instagram, I have it on Facebook, and I just wanted to give you a little background on why I made it. So, in 2012, I got really sick. Well, I moved in the house in 2011. In 2012, I got really sick. I was living in a house full of mold. And I mean, previously I did have things like allergy-induced asthma, or I'd have like sore throat or ear infection, the normal. But it wasn't bad. Like, I was dancing a lot. I was working in the club till 2 in the morning, and then going to work at 5:30 in the morning, and eating like shit. Eating a lot of fast food and not cooking as much. But I've always had like a love for cooking. Always. Grilled cheese used to be my shit. Okay. So I lived in a house full of mold in 2012, and I did move out 6 months after I discovered there was mold. And I even tried to sue and get money for all the medical expenses and everything I had to throw away. I had gotten tests for the mold. There was mold in the clothes, in the mattress. They even recommended that I pretty much get rid of everything that I can't dry clean. And we did test that there was mold in the mattress. So mold definitely, the immune system, it brings down the immune system a lot. So I wasn't understanding why I was like doing crunches in the house, and I'm having like a runny nose in my crib, like after doing crunches on the floor and stuff. And then everything just had all these white fuzzy stuff on it after a while. So 6 months, I went to the beach, had all the doors closed, everything closed for 3 days, and I came back and it just reeked of mold. And then you could see it on the windowsill and on the clothes and a lot of things. So being an artist or an entertainer, I went to the dermatologist and I got an antibiotic, because even though like there was the runny nose and all that, but I just thought that was like, oh, NyQuil, those normal things that we take for sinuses and stuff, or our Claritin. So I go to the dermatologist and I get acne medicine, because as an entertainer, I don't want a pizza face, and it was really bad. It was getting bad, and I never had that problem before. So I went to the dermatologist. They gave me these antibiotics. It was like a little program-ish. They gave me like bleach pads afterwards. They gave me the antibiotic. It was like a month's supply. I probably took it for 2 weeks, maybe to 3 weeks. And I just stopped taking it because my stomach started to hurt real bad. And they were like, oh, why didn't you tell us, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, I'm scared, like my only hope is apparently this pill, and it gives me a stomach ache. So it did clear off pretty much my face, or do better. My face did look better. But in return, I had like side effects later. My stomach just hurt after that for about a year and a half. And it was like every time I went to the bathroom, or no, every time I was eating something, I would sit down to eat, I take one bite and I have to go to the bathroom immediately. Every time it was like I already knew. Like every time I took a bite of food, I had to go to the bathroom. It wasn't throwing up, thankfully. It wasn't diarrhea, thankfully. It was just I had to go to the bathroom every time I took one bite of food. So at this point, I don't really know much about the human body, and I'm not understanding why this stuff is happening to my body. So I go to the doctor, and he gives me B12 shots for like the fatigue I had. I had a lot of muscle pain. I was really tired, and my stomach hurt all the time. So I'm having these symptoms that I've never had before. I'm used to dancing in the club, waking up early, making coffee, working at a hotel, and just repeating it. And all of a sudden, I'm just not Allison anymore. Just a sick person. And I hadn't had to go to the doctor for quite some time, so I really thought going to the doctor was going to help. So I told them about the mold, and they were like, oh, you're crazy, the mold, it's just mold. I'm like, something's wrong with me. So he gives me the B12, which I did like. It was cool. It was interesting, like giving yourself a shot. I was scared at first. And I don't know what else. I think that was it. I think he gave me something else, but maybe I didn't take it. So, of course, if symptoms persist, come back again. So a couple months later, I went back. I'm still not understanding why I'm not myself anymore, months later. And he runs some tests for me. And apparently, I'm just allergic to everything. That's pretty much what he said. Beef, dairy, bread, corn, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. But why, after 26 years of life or 25 years of life, am I all of a sudden allergic to everything and I never was before? I'm like, well, does it have to do with the mold or something? Oh, no, don't be crazy, you know. That doesn't have anything to do with it. Now you just have all these allergies. So now I'm just allergic to everything, and that's all the answers that the doctors had for me. Cool. So that went into emotional pain that I've never experienced, depression and things like that. Because I was always like a happy-go-lucky person. Like, I just believed the world was amazing, and I believed everything everybody said all the time. The whole system that was created for us was perfect to me. And now I'm just getting like all these random reality checks. Like the emotional stress brought a lot of things, and I experienced a lot of emotions that I'd never had before. And I experienced a lot of pain and things with my body that I'd never experienced before. So after that, I like went to California, and I'm like crying all the time. I go for a Justin Bieber audition in 2012, and I fail miserably, but I meet a lot of cool people, and I find a church, and I find a book that's like the power for life, and that really helped a little bit with my mind and understanding a little bit about the world, I guess. And but I started reading that every day, waking up every day reading that when I was in LA. I stayed for a month, ended up, and I rented out like a place, and I was going to church and really just trying to get my mind right, taking shit ton of dance classes. I bought like a pass of like 30 classes, and but it was like just embarrassing every time we go out and we're eating and I don't know what to eat, or I'm just having these like emotional breakdowns randomly because I'm like, I just feel like I can't be normal. I can't be like everybody else, and I didn't know why, and nobody was giving me answers. So that come back to Atlanta, and I'm acting crazy to my friends, having all these emotional breakdowns, and they're like, dude, you've been in movies and commercials, and you do what you love for a living. Like, why are you tripping? I'm like, well, yeah, that's all great, but I don't understand what's going on with my body. Like, and nobody's giving me answers. So I end up going to a GI specialist, which is a stomach testing. I paid $400, and I told them about the mold once again, and they said pretty much that I was crazy. We got the test back, and there's nothing wrong with me. Apparently, I'm just crazy. I'm crazy. That was the answer. So then I went to a science environmental doctor, and she was like, oh my God, yes, I was almost in a wheelchair because of the mold. It's so bad for you. And she ran some tests. My thyroid was off, low levels of vitamin D, candida, this, that, streptococcus, and all these things. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And she had these options to help me heal, but they were way expensive, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling it, and I didn't have the money for it, but it was some type of hope. So that was that. So now it's like 2 years later, from 2011 or 2012, and I'm still sick, and I don't understand. At this point, I've been to jail for a traffic violation. I lost all my money because I had to throw everything, all the beautiful clothes, all the beautiful shoes and that, all the beautiful jackets, everything cool that I had, especially being a dancer in Georgia, having auditions constantly and dancing in the club. I had to throw all my shit away. Excuse the language. So it was my first time experiencing debt, my first time experiencing crazy acne like that, my first time experiencing a lot of emotions and not understanding what's wrong with my body. So after I get a lawyer for all this, so I get a traffic violation, I get out of my car, I didn't know that was illegal. It's like 2 in the morning and I've been dancing for 4 hours and then like crouched down like this because I go to an event and there's no chairs. So I'm like 10 minutes from home and I make a right turn, but I go around the car at the light and a cop passes by. So then I get arrested, and that's when I realized the police, that whole thing, that wasn't real, like 2013. Before all this Black Lives Matter and all that stuff I'm doing it because I've had problems with the police myself, even with my skin color. I got out of my car. I know, oh, you stupid for getting out. But how was I supposed to know? There's no rule book on how to be a human. And the rule books that we have gotten cause us death and illness. So I get out of my car and they start charging me with their gun. They're like, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. And I just want to be like, why? What's wrong? Like, what happened? Like, why are you freaked out? Why are you charging me with guns? Why did you just grab my arm and throw me on? Why did you just attack me? I need to stretch, my bro. Like, my legs are tingling. Like, you know, when you like hit your elbow or your feet or your legs are asleep. And hopefully I thought I was gonna have to drive again maybe and go home. But I get twisted my arm, thrown on the ground, I get put in the back of a car. Well, I have to wait for a woman cop to come and pat me down. Now this is my first time experiencing ever coming out of my element. So I'm a human being treated like an animal, so I transform into an animal because you're touching me, you're throwing me on the ground, you're yelling at me, and you don't let me speak. I didn't even get to ask why. Like, why? Like, if you would have just said, hey, ma'am, it is illegal. Can you please get back in your car? It's for safety precautions. I would have gotten right back in the car with no questions asked. But I didn't even get that. 2 men, and they're 2 white men, charged me, threw me on the ground, waited, I had to wait for the women cop, they pat me down. And then, instead of just giving me a charge for like, I don't know, driving in the wrong lane, because I did have to go in the other lane to make that right turn, they gave me, for my headlights being off, even though they were on by the time I got pulled over, they gave me obstruction of justice, they gave me driving in the wrong lane, and they gave me one more, I can't think of it, like failure to comply or something like that, or I can't remember what it was. So that was my first time realizing, oh, so the cops really aren't there for us. And then when I go to the lawyer and I was like, I really want to see the video, I want people to know to like, they have to be aware around cops, you know, it's not a safe environment. And the lawyer pretty much told me like, look, you're just a person and they are cops, and you're gonna waste your time and your money trying to fight that fight because it's your word against theirs. And I was like, well, what about the video? He was literally like, it's just not even worth fighting for. That's when I learned lawyers, cops, hospitals, these things don't work for human beings. And this is just my personal experience in Atlanta, Georgia. So now all these experiences are happening at once, and I'm still sick, and I don't know why. So that lawyer helps me out. Like 6 months later, I go to the lawyer, I don't know, to pick up some paperwork or for something, and he's like, wow, he was like, you look skinnier, you look worse. He was like, you're still sick, I'm so sorry to hear about that. He was like, take this number, call this guy. He was like, why don't you try to go see a chiropractor? I'm like, a chiropractor? Fuck it. I've already been to the emergency room 3 times. I've already been to the GI specialist, and I've already been to the science environmental doctor. I guess I'll go to a chiropractor. What do I have to lose? Nobody else has answers for me. I've been to jail. Like, what else can I do? So I go to a chiropractor, and by this point, my stomach has hurt for 2 years straight, and I don't know why my stomach's hurting, and apparently I'm just crazy. And the science and environmental doctor was like, yeah, the mold, you have this deficiency, you have that deficiency. So I had some answers, but my life went from like no problems to a million. So after I go to the chiropractor and he does x-rays, and I come back and he shows me my x-rays. He explains how the spine is supposed to be aligned and how the nervous system functions, and if the spine is not aligned, that the nervous system can't really do its job properly. It like holds. So he shows me where I'm all like screwed up, and I can see I've always had like this thing where I know my jaw's like crooked. I can see all that. And he gives me a treatment plan for like 3 months where I go like 3 days a week for a couple weeks, and then 2 days a week, and then 1 day a week. And the first week, the pain in my stomach for 2 years that I had went away. So now I'm like, okay, what the hell is this? He's over here, big guy, laying on my back. At first, for the first couple weeks, they put like this thing on my neck and they stretch my neck out. So I would lay there. They had this like fancy music, and they would put this thing on my neck and crank it, crank. And I don't know what that's called, but I did that for a couple weeks. And then he would feel on my back, he would lay on me, do this, crack, and flap, all that stuff. It's funny, it's cool. So after that, I was like, yeah, this is something I'm always gonna do, because I did all the things I was told to do as a human, and those things didn't work. But this chiropractor thing worked for me specifically, and I'm doing research. He has all this information about chiropractic care. There's even a massage therapy lady there. I ended up doing that a couple months later, and like I was more flexible. I cried. Like I did one session with the massage therapist, and I was like, look, my groin hurts and stuff. Like when I'm stretching, I'm a dancer. And she was like working all that and using coconut oil and stuff and essential oils. And I cried because like literally when we got up, I could touch my toes, and before I couldn't. And it was just amazing. Like I could stretch in ways that I was never able to. I didn't do that too much because it was kind of expensive, but I did get more massages after that. So I went to the chiropractor, and I realized that's something I'm always going to do, because that seemed to work for me. But I was still having issues. Like I still wasn't fully healed just from the chiropractor. So my chiropractor was like, all right, cool, so you're learning this, you're getting your spine aligned, and love you, Ricky. And he was like, now nutrition is your next thing, and he sent me to a nutritionist. I'm like, all right, cool, great. This is a new journey, something maybe is gonna work out. I'm getting some type of answers. And he runs some tests on me too. I'm like laying down, he puts these things like on my chest and here and my stomach, and I lay down for a while, and he's running all these tests. I'm laying down from his little computer, and then he tells me to get up, and he shows me the test results and everything. I think I still have them, and he was like, your body's working extremely hard to get up from a laying position. Like when you're sleeping and you're waking up, your body has to work way too hard for you to get up. So that explains something for him. I didn't really know all of it, what he was saying, but it made sense. I mean, I never wanted to get out of bed. I was pretty much depressed and sad and angry. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, toxins or whatever. So he didn't do nutritionist what I would think nutrition is now. He pretty much did a lot of muscle testing. He had all these little jars, and of like the whole food formation of certain things like magnesium, potassium, this, that, and he did all these muscle tests, and he pretty much told me what I needed. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever you say, I need this, I need this, I need this. And I was taking like 26 pills a day. But let me tell you, I was like the most energetic I'd ever been. I I had more energy than ever. I felt better. I had more clarity in the brain. I just felt better, but mentally, I didn't want to take 26 pills a day. It's like, I can't do this. Like, I don't believe that we were come to this earth to have to take 26 pills a day. I just couldn't accept that as my lifestyle forever. And it was really bothering me, even though I felt amazing. So he even gave me pills that helped, like, it was called F, but like the power of FPMS. And that, I was literally like, I would leave work with period pain. I would be on the ground at work with period pain since I was 18 years old, since I'd ever been at work. I would call out of work, I'd be at work on the ground, period pain. And he had some type of pill, a natural whole food pill that got rid of my period pain if I took it before my period. And it was just all these things that I never knew about the human body, and I'm just at a loss for words. I didn't go to college, and hell, I really barely did school, like high school. I only did 11th and 12th grade. I was homeschooled from 7th grade to, I just played a bunch of video games and argued with my parents, okay? And so that's why I wanted to graduate at a high school. And I didn't go to college. I didn't even apply to one college. But anyway, so just telling you, my background in what I was taught as a human, and now what am learning as a human because of a suffering. So I'm discovering these things out of suffering, out of pain, and I felt amazing, but I just couldn't do the 26 pills. Like, I'm like, this is not right. This is not normal. So one day I go to the dentist, and I just start breaking down in my car, like, out of not being able to accept my new lifestyle. And I get on Google Maps, and I'm like, natural healing, natural something. I just put stuff in Google Maps, and I find something that's like some natural place. And I call them crying, and they're like, calm down. We have an appointment tomorrow. And I'm like, but I'm kind of close. Can I come today? And I think we made it for the next day. And that's when I met my doctor lady. And I go to this place. She's like this very calm lady. It was an office building. It was kind of tense actually going in. But when I got to her office, there was a peace. And she had this machine thing. It was like a little flat box with these cords, and it had the metal bars on it. And she ran these tests. And she pretty much, like, to make a long story short, was like, I'm not going to tell you everything that's wrong with you because it's going to freak you out. Yes, I sure did dance through all that pain. It was wild. I sure did. Dance was like one of the things that kept me sane. If I didn't have dance, I don't know. Suicide was a thought many times. I told God, I got on my knees, actually, before I met that doctor lady. At a time after I got arrested, I got on my knees and literally was like, God, I've been in the church for a long time, and what I'm living is a lie. And you told me this in the Bible. You told me for the plans that I have for you. You told me that we were going to have money. You told me that we were going to have health. And I obeyed. I tithed. I went to church. I did vacation Bible school. I did all the brainwashing things that I was supposed to do to supposedly be a human being. And now I'm suffering. Now I'm dying as a human. And I don't have answers. And I got on my knees and I said, I don't care where you take me, but you better take me off of this earth. I said, you better take me off of this earth. If I have to do it myself, I will. But you better take me off of this earth, and I don't care if you send me to hell. I don't care if you send me to heaven. Just take me off of this earth, because this is bull. My first time I ever got on my knees, like I got on my knees to pray a couple times, like in church and when I got saved and things like that. But that was a real conversation, probably the realest conversation I ever had with God. And after that, my life changed. So I get emotional talking about it, and I'm trying not to cry, but it was the most painful experience I ever had in my life. So anyway, I go to the doctor lady, and I have Rocky Mountain spotted fever. I have Epstein-Barr virus, low levels of vitamin D. I have parasites. I have bacteria. I have viruses. I want to say I have this and that, but she legally couldn't tell me I had these things, like Lyme disease or whatever it may have been. And there was such a piece of actually somebody telling me, this is what's wrong with you, and it's gonna be okay. You can change the way you're living, and you can clean your body and get rid of these things. And I couldn't stop crying because no one had ever told me the truth. So she gives me like these jars of these detoxes, like plant potions, and I don't know what the hell she's talking about or what the hell she was talking about, but you know, somebody was giving me time and love and caring about me for once. So she gave me these things to do, and it was so difficult, like taking the medicines on an empty stomach 3 times a day, putting the drops in water every day, changing the way I eat. She gave me a list of foods that I wasn't supposed to eat and the stuff that was giving me inflammation, and telling me foods that I should eat. She told me I had to stop taking toothpaste with fluoride in it, and told me I had to stop using the microwave. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, where am I? Like, why do I have to change all these things? Like, no, like, this is how I grew up, and I like this life that I'm living, and I don't want to let go of this life. So it was a hard transition, and it was emotionally painful, but it was absolutely worth it. 100% worth it. 1,000% worth it. But it was a struggle, you know. Like, all these new habits in my life that I didn't understand why I needed them, and so I'm taking supplements, but now I have these plant potions, right? And Lucy's like, why are you crying? So now I have these plant potions in my life 3 times a day on an empty stomach. I'm trying to, you know, change the way I think, because she was pretty much trying to help me accept that I was human and that everything that I'm going through is completely normal. And so I'm trying to accept these new habits and accept me as a human and my lifestyle. And all I kept thinking was, I'm gonna have to be like this forever. I'm gonna have to take pills forever. I'm gonna have to fucking take a plant potion forever, in the morning, in the afternoon, and carry this shit with me everywhere. And it was difficult, you know? So I did it, but it was hard. It was hard to accept these things. And I was going in and out, you know, to a point to where she was like, look, you're wasting your money. If you're not gonna do the regimen and the things that I tell you, she was like, don't come back, because you're wasting your money and you're wasting my time. And that's when it really clicked in, like, okay, like, I could be feeling amazing, I could be feeling better, but I can't accept that this is my new lifestyle and that this is the process. I couldn't accept the process. And accepting was part of healing. It's not all about drugs, I promise you. It is a mental battle healing the body. So I accepted that I can't be like everybody else. And the life that I tried to be a part of, which was beautiful, the schools and the colleges and all that, and fast food, that life I try to be a part of is just not for me. And I had to accept being different. And I always wanted to be like everybody else, and now I see being like everybody else can cause pain and sorrow and death, and trying to live up to everybody else's standards and beliefs. It's a painful way to live. So I'm going through all these things. Nobody knows why I'm like carrying all these things to auditions, or missing auditions, or having these mental battles and breakdowns, and I'm just experimenting and living my life, and I really thought that I was gonna have to take those bottles and those supplements my whole life, and I got arrested again. Right before my healing, I'm like at my peak. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good. I've finally accepted, you know, this process. Now I booked a movie, a $30,000 movie. In 1 month, I made $30,000 shooting Step Sisters, which is now on Netflix. And I had found love, you know, after I accept this new lifestyle, and found that job, and then I get arrested. Boom. There's a felony at that. And there was the crash where it was like, haha, don't be too excited, don't be too happy, you know, don't be on your high horse yet. And that was an experience. So that's when I experienced the prison system. I was only locked up for like 8 hours. Like the whole like changing your clothes and giving all your jewelry and them giving you the toilet paper and the towel and like, this is all you have now. That was definitely an experience. But I was, like I said, I was only there a couple hours, and it good intentions with bad. The prison system, good intentions with bad morals or whatever it may be. So the reason I fight for Black Lives Matter and Blackout Until and for health reform and police reform is because I've lived it. I'm not, you know, I've lived it. And I've been blacking out for 2 years after I would say got my healing or my acceptance. I made a plan to then find out who I am. Who am I? Where am I? Where did I come from? So my mom was born in Dominican Republic and my dad was born in Pennsylvania. I got to see Dominican Republic a couple times, but mainly just the resorts. So I didn't really actually get to see the land of the people as much. And then I've been to the Netherlands, which is on my dad's side of the family. My dad's mom is from the Netherlands. So I'm not so uneducated as people like to say that I am. I've traveled. I'm well traveled, and I like to explore. So I've got to see the Netherlands. I've got to see some of where I'm from, and then now I live in the country for where my mom was born, and there's a lot of history everywhere. And now I understand why I love music, why I love to dance. Everybody here loves dancing. They have bachata, merengue, salsa. Everybody dances with each other. They all love to sing. And now I understand who I am a little bit more. And there's so much peace in knowing who you are or where you came from or why you are the way you are. And imagine, and I'm just going to switch over to Black Lives Matter, imagine being in a land that doesn't favor you, that doesn't love you, or you don't see people like you constantly. And or when you go to the store, you're not buying into your people and you don't even have that chance. So really, you are in another world. So that's why I'm blacking out until, and Black Lives Matter. I've been blacking out for 2 years. That's why I left America, because I didn't want to support that system anymore. So here, I don't have to support anything from America, because here, I can go to the store and buy an apple from my neighbor. I can go to the store and buy coconut oil from my country. I can go to the store and buy clothes from my people. I can go to the store and buy anything from my people. So I've been able to experience how that feels, and now I understand the urgency that in America, it is not Black America. It is a white country, but it's supposedly the land of the free, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. Why can't I go and buy at a Black grocery store? Why can't I go and buy Black underwear when I want? Why can't I go and buy a Black-owned shampoo, even though it has Black qualities and it's for Black people, but it is white-owned still? So these things confuse me. So now I've left the country. I'm living in Dominican Republic for 2 years, and my health is stronger and it's easier to maintain because I'm eating local foods. And there's a big difference in eating local foods, because when the food travels long periods of times, that means it has chemicals, it's been sprayed with treatments, and you're not even getting the nutrients that you need. So The reason I made AlleyHTseries is because I just wanted to remember all my journey of healing, and I don't want to be sucked back into the world when I start singing and dancing again and feeling like I have to comply to this world when I know the truth. So, yeah, I came here to DR. After I got arrested, I did my program. I did, what is it called? I don't even remember what it's called. The first offender thing. First offenders were 6 months. I had to get drug tests every week for 6 months. I had to do counseling, or the what is it, the meetings with the like, not the AA meetings, but it was the addiction and counseling meetings or whatever. So that was interesting, seeing people had way more fucked up lives than I had, like with more than one DUI, meth heads. And then I could see, oh wow, my life really isn't that bad, even though I got arrested for marijuana. So yeah, I did that. I was sober for 6 months, having to piss every week. I was still going to the clubs. I was still doing karaoke. I was still partying all night long. It's possible. You can be sober and have fun. And I love you, Ricky, so much. And I miss you, by the way. And yeah, so I have the AlleyHTseries. Oh, I came here, and you know, I still was mentally, even though my body was cleansed, I had been cleansed from my doctor, my mind still hadn't made the transition over. So in 2017, I was like, you know what? I'm going to move to Dominican Republic, or I'm going to go there for a couple months because my grandma was here. She has a house. She has all these plants growing in the house and chickens. And I just wanted to see, like, what's real human life, or what was life like before all the amazing gifts that we have now, you know? And there's a comfort in seeing food grow from the ground and being able to grab it from the tree and eat it. And there's also a lot of healing powers in that, and nutrients. So I came here, and my grandma didn't let me do anything, play with the garden, cook. So I'm in the books again. I had already been in the books since 2012. I had been in the book, or no, when I went to LA. Since 2012, I had been in the books, and still my mind hadn't transformed after 5 years of reading almost every day. Just reading different books, and it was a lot of Jesus books. It was all Jesus and only Jesus books, because that's just what I thought we had to do, and I'm trying to spread the word and spread Jesus, and I don't know, it just wasn't working, and it wasn't healing people, and it wasn't healing me. So I'm not knocking it, it just, you know, wasn't my healing. So 5 years, and I was heavy in the Jesus books, and I still wasn't getting the healing that I wanted. And I go to DR. At this point, my love has now ended. I had broken up with my first love I found. We had separated, and I'm in DR. And I'm just crying, but I'm in a perfect place. I'm not working. I had just got, the day that I flew out, I had got my court notice. My lawyer was like, oh, by the way, you have court tomorrow. And I was like, no, the fuck I don't. I'm in Florida, and I'm flying out to Dominican Republic. And I bought a one-way ticket. And he was like, yeah, your court notice is tomorrow or next week. And I was like, no, or I think he said tomorrow. I was like, yeah, no, I can't go. I'm in Florida, and I have a flight to DR. And my lawyer got extended for a month. I really wanted to be in DR for like 3 months. This was 2017. My lawyer got extended for a month, and I come back, or I'm here, and I'm just crying. I come to DR, and I'm crying, and I'm crying, and I'm crying, and I'm in my room all the time, and I'm like, why? She doesn't love me anymore. Nobody's gonna love me. I'm crazy, and I'm weird, and I have all these health issues, and she thought it was cool that I ate healthy. She was the only one that thought it was cool and didn't care that I couldn't eat anything when we went out to eat. Boo-hoo me. And I talked to my cousin that I had never really met before. I only met her one time, and she's also an artist, and she's Dominican, and she's a lot younger than me. She's completely amazing. And she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, bah, 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 bah. She's like, it's okay. And I'm like, but why do I feel like that? She was like, don't beat yourself up. She was like, does a baby learn how to walk in one day? Oh, I'm not a baby. But does a baby learn how to walk in one day? Does he keep crawling before he learns how to walk? And then when he does learn how to walk, when he falls down, do you yell at him? And you do tell him he's a piece of shit because he doesn't know how to walk still, because he's still learning how to walk? Do you get mad at him and angry at him for not learning how to walk? She was like, you gotta stop doing that to yourself while you're learning. Don't be mad when you fall. And I'm like, but I don't understand what the hell you're talking about. And I still have the notebook from this day of all these feelings that I have of not being loved and all this, and I realized that I just didn't love myself. So she gave me all these books to read, and I just started reading them like I had nothing else. Nobody had answers for me. Doctors didn't have answers. Police didn't have answers. Lawyers didn't have answers. Jesus didn't have the answer. So now I'm just at square one again, trying to figure out what's going on with my life. And I started reading these books, and it just gave me a different perspective of life, and then I had to accept that nobody knows the truth. Nobody knows anything. And now I don't even have to take supplements. And I just made a video about the supplements like three months ago. I don't even take supplements anymore. I don't have any issues. I'm not even allergic to cats anymore. I don't have a period, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet, but I'm gonna get into the hormone thing yet, but not yet. But I have other friends working on that, and they're studying that part. But I don't have any period pain. I'm not allergic to cats. I don't even think I'm allergic to dogs anymore, which I literally would make excuses not to go back to my mom and dad's house because of the cats and dogs, and I literally just couldn't breathe. I would sneeze a lot and talk like that. Because every time I went over, I wouldn't even sleep in their house because of how bad my allergies were with the cats and dogs. And I can prove that to you right now. Stella's right there, and I can put her all in my face right now. And anybody who really, really knows me for a long time, I could show them if I hold the cat, and they'll be like, wow, that's weird, because my eyes would already be ready itchy. I would be rubbing my eyes already. I'm not even allergic to cats anymore. So, I mean, I'm not trying to brag or boast or anything, but I think I pretty much got it down when it comes to the health thing. I also did acupuncture, which helped a lot with my period, and it also helped a lot with sinuses. So it was trial and error and a lot of money that I put into learning how to heal the human body. And I'm still learning. I'm still experimenting. I'm still trying new things. And like the Wim Hof method, now I'm doing juicing. These are things that I didn't do before that now I'm doing now that I think is helping me maintain my health. And I want to talk to anybody who's having similar experiences, whether it's enlightenment, whether it's healing the body, whether it's you just need motivation to be reminded, like, hey, like, it's a process and it's okay. I'm here. I have the time. I have the time now, and that's what I want my time for, and I don't want to charge for my time either. So I want to do it for free, and I don't have the answers. It's not medical advice. It's just inspiring you to do something different, because change is the only way to healing. Whether it's racism, whether it's lupus, whether it's fatigue, change is the only way. Whether you're overweight, change, whether you have an issue with your partner, change is the only way to healing. And the only way to change is time, and with love and acceptance. So yeah, I'm not telling you that I'm right or I'm wrong. I just want to inspire you to try something different. And I would love to speak with anybody who's looking to be on a similar journey, and we can exchange knowledge and information and motivate each other. So that's why I made AlleyHTseries. That's why I made the Coconut Oil Miracle Group. And that's why I made Alleviate Your Mind Group, because these are all things that help me change my life and be in the position I am now, where I'm happy and I accept that, yes, I am just human and we are all learning on this earth, and that's really it. There's nothing more. And our life is a gift, and our body is extremely, incredibly powerful, and we have the most powerful and unique system inside of our bodies, and in our mind and in our head, cabeza. And yeah, it's awesome. Exactly. It's all in our mind, really. And one thing that I learned is that when you write down your thoughts or your feelings or your experiences, you can organize your thought a little better, and then be like, okay, that thought is probably a thought that, or word is probably I shouldn't say often. Or when for your diet, you write down what you're eating and you realize what's giving you inflammation or pain. And every healing process that I had to deal with writing stuff down. That's it. Because we are so amazing, and our brains are like, wow. We have to remind ourselves of certain things, and that's how we fall off the wagon sometimes. So I want to remind you guys that you are already healed. You already have the power. You just don't know about it yet. So, and I will go ahead and show you my body really quick. You know, I look decent. I don't really work out. I do dance. I want to work out. Like, I would like my legs to be like sexier, I guess. But I don't do ab workouts. I think it's the breathing method, to be honest. I stretch a little bit more, and I've just been juicing in the morning, and I eat now around 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, but this is something I just started like 2 weeks ago, the breathing method like a month and a half ago. I'm still learning, and anybody who brings anything my way, or a healing method my way, I would love to try and experiment with my body first before I ask you to try it, or we can do it together. I'm not opposed to that. I know the power of the human body, and I know that I can reverse any illness because I've already done it. So, yeah. Welcome to AlleyHTseries. And there's no fees involved. It's just experiments and motivation, and that's all I want to do. Experiments and motivation. I'm not a doctor, because doctors, they just prescribe you medication and they've never taken it before. I'm just telling you about things that I've experienced and what worked for me, and then you're going to try certain things that I do, and then you're going to discover new things about the earth and the human body that I don't know, and hopefully you're going to come back and tell me about those new things so I can keep them down for anybody else who needs them. So, you already know I did my breathing and some stretching today. I was right on this wall. Look, and as I was stretching, I picked up some weeds on the ground. As you could see, I was right here. Oh, I was stretching right here with my legs out and picking weeds in the ground at the same time. As you could see, wow. So yeah, my animals love me. They love being around me. I don't know why, they just they feel safe around me. Anyway, so that is my spill on why I created AlleyHTseries. And I love you. You have a great day. And let's see if I can remember. On my birthday, when I turned 32, I put 3 things that I learned and that I felt like are to be true about the world or life. 1, acceptance is the key, or acceptance is important. 2, what was 2? I remember 3. 3 was God is love. So without God, there is no love, and without love, there is no God. And then, what was the second thing? And the second thing was, I can't remember, but I will come back to that. I'm going to post it. But another thing that's just coming to my mind right now is you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. So there's another study I'm doing. I'll end with that. It's like the 10 scrolls Some people like the 10 Commandments, but I like the 10 Scrolls. And because I believe that there's so much words in your power, there's so much power in words. So if you're saying thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not, do this, adultery, thou shalt not, you're still speaking those words and you're making those words, in a sense, habit in your life. So, it's just, there's different flaws. What was it? The intention was good, but the actual power in the message is it's harmful. So the 3 scrolls, I'm on scroll 3, is I will form good habits and become their slaves, because we all have habits. They might as well be good ones. And I will greet this day with love in my heart, and I will persist until I succeed. Woo! And that is from The Greatest Secret. If you want to have a success recorder, I'm reading these scrolls 3 times a day. And thanks to the Blackout Coalition group, I'm like in a private group with them, and this is what the book that we're working on right now. And shout out to Kava Martyr, Blackout Coalition, Blackout Until. And yeah, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, I'm reading those 3 times a day, and anything 3 times a day. Once again, like I noticed before, the medicine I had to take was 3 times a day. And there's so much power in your words. So anyway, yeah, I'm just getting too excited here. But I love you guys. Oh, the book is The Greatest Secret in the World by O.G. Medino. And before that, like before the success recorder, where you're, keeping track that you are reading these scrolls and getting them into your second mind, as they say. The book before that is the Greatest Salesman in the World. So I will be making a toothpaste brand here in DR, because I did notice that I can support my country all the way through, but I cannot support it with toothpaste because there's only USA brand name toothpaste here. And I want to name the names, but I don't want to get in trouble, but that's all they have here, and they all have fluoride, and now it makes sense why everybody's teeth is screwed up. So I'm going to help my people in my country, and I'm going to create a toothpaste that is natural and that is healthy, and I will try to make it as cheap as I can, and I don't care. I will give out all the ingredients. Everybody can make it at home if they want to. But for those who don't want to make it at home, you can buy it from me, and I'm going to be in partner with somebody who is from here so that they can have, the business for their family and their generations, their children's as well. And so as I am seeing, like, pushing the blackout, and I'm here also doing the same, blacking out from the corporations that are in power over there in the States. But there is one that is a very powerful corporation, and I did do research on one of them. And if you do actually do research on certain big brand names of things that you buy, you will not want to buy into them anymore and support what they believe in. But yeah, so that's what I'm going through. Those are my journeys. I love you all, and please connect with me, because I have time, like literally, like I'm not doing anything else. I have a job, I work from home, I take phone calls, and then all throughout the day, I'm trying new things. I'm trying things with my diet, I'm taking care of the animals, I'm cleaning my room, I'm working on the toothpaste, and I listen to a lot of audibles about healthy and different health journeys, and also about Black history. So right now I am blessed to even be in a position where I can sit down and just learn and take the time to understand who we are as humans on this earth, and what can I do to give back and help. While you are out in the beautiful, created, man-made world, that the many gifts, and it's fun, it's all great, it's perfect. We just have to change some things, some ingredients, and we can still have all the same things, and it's not like we have to get rid of anything, we just have to do it differently. So while you guys kind of have to be in that world right now, and I want to be here as that backbone, as that motivation, as that reminder, as, okay, yeah, there's all these things around me, and I have to go to work, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. But I want you to be able to come back to a place where you're like, oh yeah, oh shoot, I can go to the chiropractor. Oh, I can go to the acupuncture for this. Oh, I can just drink some lemon water. Oh, I can have a melon smoothie. Oh, celery juice will get rid of that. Oh, Cucumber juice will help me with my anxiety and my kidneys and help me with my kidney stones. Like, that's all that I want, and I want it to be free. Hopefully I can make an app in the future to where anytime you have a pain or a thought, you can just look it up and have not one answer, but 10 answers, so you can just do what may work for you. And but those are just some dreams and some goals and all that, you know. And I love you, and have a good day.